Hi there, this is Penelope. This is a short video on multiplying and dividing fractions in the series of the videos review of basic arithmetic skills. Now, multiplying and dividing, not so easy. Let's look at multiplying first. Multiplying fractions is easy because it's just the top number times the top number divided by the bottom number times the bottom number. So if we have something like 2 over 3 times 5 over 7, we can say that that's 2 times 5 over 3 times 7, which is 10 over 21. Sometimes you'll see fractions with the word of between two fractions, and that translates as multiply. For example, if we've got a half of a half, what that means is a half of half a cake. Now, you'd know how to do that. You'd know that the answer would be a quarter of a cake. So let's make the maths work for that. A half of a half is going to be a half times a half, which is then 1 times 1 over 2 times 2, which is a quarter, which is what we said. A third of 2/5 is the same thing. It's a third times 2/5, which is 1 times 2 over 3 times 5, which is 2 over 15. Multiplying the numerator and the denominator by the same number is just the same as multiplying by 1. Sometimes we talk about this as unity. So, for example, 4 over 5, or 4 times 3 over 5 times 3 is exactly the same as 4 over 5 times 3 over 3, and this is 1. So we can use this in reverse when we're looking at simplifying fractions. We just plug the battery in so that we can continue. Okay, so we've got as far as saying something like 4 times 3 over 5 times 3. Now that's equal to 12 over 15. So what we know is that 4 over 5 must be the same as 12 over 15. They're both the same number. They are equivalent fractions. A second fraction is equivalent to the first. That you can find this equivalent fraction by multiplying the numerator and the denominator of the first by the same number. So if we have, say, 7 over 5, and we want to find an equivalent fraction, we could multiply it by 4 over 4, because that's just 1. And then we have 28 over 20. Now this is much more useful if we're going in reverse. We can say 28 over 20 is equal to 7 times 4 over 5 times 4, which was equal to 7 over 5 times 4 over 4. And this bit is 1, so our final answer is 7 over 5. So the doing of it in reverse is the more useful thing. Obviously, we don't just limit ourselves to one number. We can do for 3 fractions if we want. We could say that was, let me see, so that's 2 times 5 times 7 is 70 over 3 times 6 times 15, that would be 270. Now, we need to simplify that, so let's break it down. We could say that's 7 times 10 over 27 times 10, and then 10 over 10 is 1, so we could say 7 over 27 times 10 over 10, and 10 over 10 is just 1, so the answer is 7 over 27. Where we have a mixed fraction, we can change it to an improper fraction. So the first one would be 4 2s are 8 plus 3 is 11 over 4 times 3 1s plus 1, 4 over 3, which would be 44 over 12. I'm sure we can simplify that. We could write that as 4 times 11 over 4 times 3. So our answer would be 11 over 3. And if it was important, we could write it as 3 and 2/3. You can use your calculator to change fractions into improper fractions, or you could just do it the way I did it just then. Now, division is not so easy. Division really trips people up. If you think of division as how many times does Q go into P? So if you think of it as a question, you're never going to get these ones wrong. Draw yourself a little picture if you can't imagine it. How many times does a quarter pie or a quarter cake go into 2 cakes? So how many times does that shape go into 2 of them? The answer is 8. So 2 divided by a quarter is 8. Similarly, if we talk about a half circle here, how many times does a half go into 3? There are 6 half circles in 3. So 3 divided by a half is 6. We can't always draw a picture, so what we need is a rule, and the rule says we invert the denominator and multiply by the numerator. Sorry, my words mixed up. So 2/3 divided by 5/7 is going to be 2 over 3 times 7 over 5. And 7 over 13 divided by 3 over 4. So 7 over 13 times 4 over 3 is 28 over 39. What about 1 divided by 5 over 3? So that's 1 times 3 over 5, which is 3 over 5. Now these numbers have a special relationship. We say that 3 over 5 is the reciprocal of 5 over 3. Conversely, 5 over 3 is the reciprocal of 3 over 5. So where we're dividing 1 by a number, we get the reciprocal